Hi guys, for those of you watching this video today on the 14th of November, I'm pretty sure by now you're going to be in a foul mood because you've been rained off work once again, because this weather is not holding up. This is probably one of the wettest autumn/winters that we're heading into that I think I've ever experienced in my full career, in my full 16 years of being a car cleaner and a detailer. I mean, it's absolutely horrendous. So that got me thinking about today's video, because that changes the entire dynamic with car cleaning. And I want to give you a prime example. Although it's been heavily raining literally for the last weeks and weeks on end, we still get those odd little breaks in the day where it's actually not that bad. And I still get clients ring me up saying, Dave, we still want to get our cars cleaned. We understand you can't always dry them and you can't do the perfect standard that you're always trying to achieve, but nevertheless, we still want our cars cleaned to a good enough level where we can take them out and people can look at them and say, oh, that's a nice clean car. Now, I understand better than anybody when it's freezing cold and it's peeing down with rain, you're going to get absolutely soaked. For most of you out there, it's not really a nice, enjoyable experience whatsoever, especially when you're cleaning the wheels and you're down there and you're bending down and you've got your knee, which is literally elevated like this, and you've got all the rain getting your legs wet. And I know some of you are going to say you wear waterproofs, but still, it's not a nice experience. And even when you've got a gigantic coat on, for example, a bit like one of these, which I had on walking over to the unit. I mean, look at this. I can't quite move in this. It's not really a comfortable look. So whenever I'm cleaning cars, I just want to get this ridiculous coat off and get back to being flexible. So what we're going to do in today's video is going to be slightly different. And what I'm going to be talking about in this video is not something I would normally ever recommend. I want you to completely unlearn the entire detailing process just for this one video, and make sure you stick around till the end, because I'm going to be getting the point across why I think this could actually work for your business. So in today's video, it's going to be highly controversial because we're going to wash a car without touching it, and I'm going to show you just how far you can possibly go using just 3 simple chemicals. The first one we have here is an alkaline wheel cleaner. By the way, before we actually go into the chemicals, these are from a company called Frogchem. They basically make chemicals for the hand car wash industry. They run a few hand car washes across the UK. They just so happen to be very local to where I live. These cost me £15 each for 5 litres, so £45 for 15 litres of chemical, which I think is pretty good. The first one we have here is an alloy wheel cleaner. It's an alkaline cleaner, and my God, is this thing strong. The next product we have is Frog Super Citrus TFR. It's basically a TFR/citrus pre-wash. Following on from that, we got a very strong snow foam here. This is called Frog Citrus Foam, and that is not a pH neutral foam. It's an alkaline foam as well. It's going to be very strong, very aggressive, and it should be able to remove up to 90% of the dirt off the car. Now, the weather's just started to break up out there right now, so we have got a tiny bit of blue sky. I'm not sure how long it's going to last, but nevertheless, I need to get out there and I'm going to clean my car with these 3 chemicals. But I'm not actually going to be using my nice fancy camera, because last time I used it 2 weeks ago when I filmed a camping video, it completely broke and I had to go out and buy a new one. So filming these videos is very expensive. So on this occasion, I'm just going to be sticking with my trusty GoPro. Right, so this is how it's going to go down. I've got my 3 chemicals. I've got my wheel cleaner, my citrus foam, and I have my citrus pre-wash, or citrus TFR as it says on the label. I'm not going to be touching any of this car whatsoever. I've got my buckets all in here, so that's going to be completely ignored. Now, because it's quite sunny outside at the minute, what I'm going to do is quite simple. We're going to wash the car as I normally would. So we're going to start off with the wheels. We're going to soak it. We're then going to put the citrus TFR around it, and then we're going to cover it in the foam. After that, we're just going to end up blasting it off, and then we're going to leave it. We're not going to dry it because we don't really want to start scratching it. We want to see how much of this dirt we're actually going to shift using these 3 chemicals and not touching it whatsoever. So if the sun stays out, we're going to leave it to dry naturally outside. You would never normally do that in a million years, but this is just purely for educational purposes today, because I just want to see the results. Failing that, if it does start raining, then I am going to bring the car inside, get it under the lights, and see what we've been left with. This is so strong. I think this chemical is way too strong. This is my 2nd trigger. Oh, come on, man. So we're starting off with the highly aggressive alkaline wheel cleaner. And this stuff, if you get it in your eyes, it really hurts. I'm not going to lie, you really should be wearing goggles and a face mask and everything else, because, oh my word, that is strong. Now, it probably won't be as difficult to shift off this back dirt, because it's always the front brakes that are a lot worse. Also, you need to bear in mind it's only the winter where you can really get away with doing this, as chemicals have longer dwell times, as they're less likely to dry out, and come spring and summertime, you will need to change that strategy once again. So the wheel cleaner actually removed all the dirt off the faces. For baked on brake dust, there was still a tiny amount, but nothing that the customer would ever criticise you for. Also, the tyres came up really well, so first impressions, it's looking good. But let's see how it all looks later on when it's dried off. Moving on to the Citrus TFR, which back in the day I did actually use a few times because my service was all about being quick. When I worked at the football clubs, I had a conveyor belt of cars, so it was just a get in, get out service. Right, so we've got the chemical soaking on the wheels, we've got the TFR on the arches and the lower third of the vehicle. Now we are just going to grab the Arva pressure washer and the Arva foam cannon, and we're just going to layer it up with this citrus foam. This stuff smelled really strong when I got it out of the bottle, so let's see what it's like on the paintwork. Now, I do know that I could have just used the foam on its own, as it's just a mix of citrus pre-wash and foam, but I still wanted to maximise the potential of removing all the muck off the lower third of the car, so I did need the strongest chemical possible. As you can see, it's not as thick as some of the other foams I've used, but it is starting to shift some of this dirt. It's starting to pull it off. This is where we're at. It's just been rinsed off. As you can see, it's not managed to shift everything. You do need some form of contact if you really do want to get the dirt off. And these are very strong chemicals, I'm not going to lie, they are horrendously strong. And this has had a lot of dirt on it. I don't think I've washed it for about 3 or 4 months. It's been that bad. But it's not terrible. I'm not going to stand here and say it's done an awful job. When you look at the wheels, I mean, these wheels were absolutely hammered anyway. I don't think there's any dirt left on them. I mean, that is just immaculate. So it's a very strong wheel cleaner, nothing you would ever want to be using on chrome alloys. Even black wheels, you've got to be very careful, especially with your dilutions. Now, we didn't quite remove every single speck of dirt, but it's amazing to see how well the chemicals actually performed. I didn't think it was that bad given the circumstances. The sun actually did make an appearance, which was quite surprising, but the star product for me was this Alkaline wheel cleaner. Bearing in mind it was about £15 for 5 litres. It's not exactly that expensive. The thing is, you've got to know when to use these products or not, because although that was a very strong product and it was very effective at what it was doing, it's definitely not going to be for your everyday run-of-the-mill car cleaning. If you're going to be using it on a car like now and then on certain types of wheels, definitely don't use it on chrome. If you're going to be using it on black painted alloys, you've got to really dilute it down and test those dilutions to find out what works. Yes, if you used it on your car every single day, you probably are going to hammer those wheels and they're going to be destroyed very quickly because of the pure strength of this chemical. But that's why you would personally go for domestic brands, because they're a lot weaker, they're a lot safer, and you're less likely to cause any harm. But for people using it as a commercial type of thing, here's where it gets interesting, because there's still people out there. Now, I know all across the UK, the prices are always going to be different, whether you're going to be charging a ridiculously expensive price just to clean a car, or you're going to be targeting some of the lower areas where you're just not going to be able to make as much money. God, that sounded really bad. But that's the point I want to get across is, It doesn't matter whether you're rich, poor, or you just got a little bit of money, everybody's still going to want a clean car regardless. Why do you think hand car washes are constantly busy when there's loads of cheap cars going through, when you've got old battered up Vauxhall Sephiras and S-Maxes like I've got? Why do you think they're constantly busy? Because people still value their cars. Just because they're not Rolls Royces and they're not swanning it around in Lamborghinis or anything, it still doesn't mean that they don't want a clean car. And I think this is when we got to sort of take a step back from the snobbery, the brand snobbery that is, and start looking at alternative products and alternative ways to clean cars. At the end of the day, if your aim is to solely make money and you're going, I really don't want to drop my prices, but maybe it could be a good idea to drop my standards instead. I can't believe I'm saying this, but it does actually make sense, especially this time of the year. Imagine if I'd spent an extra hour and a half to 2 hours cleaning that car. Now, I'd literally put all the footage together that I had on my GoPro. It didn't take me any longer than about 15 to 20 minutes to do the entire vehicle, and that's because I was filming. And I know this is something I should never ever really say myself because it goes against everything I've probably ever said, but I've got a Ford S-Max. It's a piece of junk. I don't value it, but it still does a job. It still serves a purpose. It's the farm car. We run it around. We might chuck the kids in there now and then. We might just use it for whatever. But at the end of the day, there's no way that me as a potential customer would pay somebody else to spend hours and then cleaning it when we have weather like this. So please do not think for 1 second that I think you should just jump straight onto using cheap hand car wash chemicals. Yes, they're cheap. Yes, they're very strong, but also you've got to be very careful with what you're doing. I'm just saying sometimes there's those scenarios out there when this stuff's actually plenty good enough. And you know what? I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this video, but I can actually accept it because I think the way detailing has become over the last few years, it's definitely evolved. And it's amazing how, if we were to rewind the clock back just 2 years, there's no way in God's earth that I would stand here and say, you've got to use these certain products, you've got to use cheaper products. It's all about using the best of the best and trying to get this high level of perfection. But my biggest mistake was not seeing this whole industry as a broader audience. I was just focusing on my top end clients, but I wasn't really tailoring any content to those of you who just want to have a clean car, who aren't fussed about your long-term protection. Using any of these chemicals would probably strip your wax off straight away. So if you love waxing your car, then you're probably going to have no wax left after using any of these chemicals. So you've got to bear it in mind. And I'm starting to see this pattern because, again, if we revert back to those last few years where everybody was very serious about detailing, you would get these posts on Facebook groups of people videoing somebody in a Ferrari going through a hand car wash, and everybody would be so triggered, they'd jump straight onto it. But nowadays, when you post somebody going into a hand car wash in a Ferrari, everybody in the comments says, so what? It's his pride and joy. It's his car. He can do whatever he wants. And that is telling me that there has been a massive shift within the industry, that now people are going, do you know what? We're sick of doing all this, and we've got to get these pH things. Oh, is this going to be a suitable snow foam for my paintwork? How many drops of SiO2 are going to be put in this bottle? None of that scientific bullshit. Let's just strip it down back to basics. Get out there and start enjoying your cleaning again. Honestly, in a perfect world, there is absolutely no way that I would use this process on customers' cars. But I sympathize and I understand for those of you who actually have to do it because you might be living in the wrong area or the clients simply don't want to pay up. It's just a sad fact of life. And I still think that there's absolutely nothing wrong with using these products if you have no other option to turn and you still have to earn some money. I'm 100% with you if you're people who use these products because you have no other choice. And if you love videos like this, which some of you might not, I have 2 dedicated videos which are very similar to this topic and they cover all sorts of things detailing related right here.